Hello, this is a second video to show you how to play M.E.R.C.S. Before I showed you what you got in the starter sets and a little bit of movement. It's now going to be a little bit of combat. So, to start, we're going to use the Kazawaza again. To start off, we've got the Dynamo. The Dynamo's weapon of choice is a semi-auto rifle. Now, range in M.E.R.C.S is like movement. You only use the cards. Long range, as far as the eye can see. Short range is within one card length. And melee is, well, base length. Now, if we go on the card, we see his weapon says semi-auto, FN 7, firing number of 7, weapon strength of 2, 2 attacks versus 1 target, cannot fire in melee. Combat class manoeuvre, fire and move, -1 MP, +2 FN. So, if the Dynamo wished to move and fire his weapon, he would only be able to move 1. His MP, in this case, if we bring the card back up, get into focus there, is 2. So we would only be able to move 1. So we're going to do that just for this. So place the card there and move him 1. Don't know if you saw that, the camera is on a wonky stand. So he's there. He's going to move to there. So we can still fire at the target, which in this case is from a different company. The reason I've got that one is because I can paint quite a few of them, and they're good for demo games. And you can download security rules from the M.E.R.C.S website, but you can tweak them here and there for demo games and whatnot. So, his FN, the FN of the Dynamo is 7. However, he has moved, so we wouldn't need a 9. There are other bonuses and penalties to consider. One of them is when the target is in the open, like he is. That means the Dynamo would get -1 FN needed to hit. If the target is in short range, it would be another -1 to hit. -1 FN to hit. If the Dynamo is higher up, again it's another -1. The penalties, if the Dynamo is lower down, you'd need +1. If the target is in cover, it's another +1. And if you're shooting a moving target, which we'll get onto at some other point, it's another +1. If you're moved with a semi-auto weapon, it's +2. Some weapons it's only +1, but in this case it's +2. So the target is in the open, so it's a +1. It's a -1, but the Dynamo has moved, so it is +2. So calculating it is, well, easy enough. The Dynamo would need +1, so normally needs 7s, he now needs 8s. Not bad still. So on these 2 dice here, he gets a 6 and a 10. so he deals 1 damage. Every time you hit a target, he will need to take armour failure. The armour of the security is 2, and the weapon strength is also 2. So if the weapon strength is equal to or higher, then you deal damage. 1 damage per hit. So roll for armour failure. The security's armour failure is 6. So on a dice, it's 6. And he got a 7. However, if he got a 1, or in this case a 3 or a 1, his armour would have failed. So in this case, when your armour's failed, you are -2 movement MP and -1 to your armour. So his armour's 1, and as he had MP of 2, he now has no MP. So we now go on to a short range attack with the forward observer. Now, as we can see here, the forward observer's weapon of choice is a pistol. In this case, a machine pistol. Now, if we look at the card, if I can get it up, the machine pistol is FN 7, weapon strength 2. 2 attacks versus 1 target, short range only. Now, it's worth noting, if you haven't got fire and move, you can't fire and move. So, what the forward observer would need to do, let's say he's already in close range, like so. Yep. So he would need a 7 normally, but as he's in close range, he needs a 6. As the target is in the open, he needs a 5. So on 2 dice, I need 5s. He got a 3 and a 7. So that means he's hit once. So 1 damage. You don't need to do armour failure more than once. If your armour's broken, you only need to try and repair it, which takes up the activation. You can only snap to cover, which we'll cover at some other point, and do your action. So most models have only got 3 health, so he's down to 1. So we'll go on to, so we've done him, we're going to go on to the sniper. Note that these are all painted, in this case, apart from the security, by JP Painting. Look him up on Facebook. So the sniper has a sniper rifle, which as a sniper you would have. So if we look at the card, it's an LRK, which long range kill is a sniper rifle. FN of 5, weapon strength of 3, 1 attack versus 1 target, no short range because it's a sniper rifle. Sorry there. CCM, load and aim, 2 rounds between shots. That means it takes 3 turns to fire the sniper rifle each time. So let's fire the sniper rifle. It's in the open, and you can definitely get, and it's 1 attack. So let's see. And on that dice, we would need a 4 because -1 to try and hit because he's in the open. We got here a 9. So the security has fallen. However, because of the security, because of the sniper rifle being fired, the sniper would need to take 2 turns to fire. if you're using counters such as this, it's best to have that as 2 turns, that as 1 turn, and then remove it when you can load again. Weapons that have load and or aim doesn't mean you can't move, shoot with another weapon, or do something else. It just means you can't fire that weapon. So we've done a LRK weapon. So let's bring another target, I mean security, and bring in a close combat guy. Or woman, in this case, of the spy. So if we look at the card, we'll see what it does. Sword, range M, melee, weapon strength of 2, melee plus 2 to try and hit, 3 in brackets, 1 attack versus 1 target. The brackets is a special ability which we'll not go into for now. So the spy would have to be in base contact, so let's just do that for now. Now hitting close combat is very different to hitting at range in MERCS. What you go on is your opponent's reaction, and you need to roll that or higher. So the action of these guys is 6. The spy would normally need a 6 then, but because you get plus 2, he'd need a 4, or she'd need a 4. So on this 1 dice, she got a 7. So the security took 1 damage. I need to see if their armour's failed. An 8, so the armour has not failed. You can back off from combat, but generally if you've got a close combat weapon, you're better in combat. So we've done someone who's got a bit of close combat. It goes on your reaction because you're trying to defend yourself. Even if you've got a melee stat, you don't use that to try and defend yourself. You're only doing that if you're attacking. So he's going to bring a few more guys in to try and help him, while the heavy hybrid comes in. Now the heavy hybrid is a special guy which has a heavy weapon. In this case, if we look at the card, it's called a M.E.R.S.. It's basically a heavy machine gun. FN8, weapon strength 3. Cannot fire in melee. Combat class manoeuvre, set and rip. Must stay set for 1 round. That means you've got to stand still for 1 turn without doing anything. You cannot move 90 degree. You cannot snap to cover. You have to stand still. 2 attacks per target and the single T firing zone. We'll get into that in a minute, but to fire the weapon, the heavy hybrid needs to stand still for 1 turn, so that's what he'll do. Using this, we're going to use the hand. We're going to use this to say he's set. He's bracing himself for the amount of damage he's going to bring out. The 3 guys here are going to... So, the guys here are going to fire. They've all got semi-auto weapons. So the first guy would normally need 7s. But need 8s, but now need 7s because the heavy hybrid is in the open. So the first guy, he got a 5 and a 1. Nothing. The second guy over here is doing the same again. he got a 9 and a 2. So let's bring up the card to see what the armour is, because the weapon strength is 2. Ooh, if I just get into focus somewhat. The armour value is 3, so deal no damage, but check for armour failure. And on this guy it is a 6. So on 1 dice he got a 9, so no armour failure. And the third guy is going to try and break his armour. So with 2 dice, so we have a 6 and we have a 2. So nothing. Which is going to be very painful for these guys, because what happens now is it goes in the template, which is here. If I just bring it into focus somewhat,